So it's been over a month since NFL free agency opened up, and former Broncos guard Dalton Risner is still sitting on the open market. This is something that I certainly did not anticipate, and I don't think Dalton anticipated it either. Even in the middle of last season, the writing had been on the wall for some time that the Broncos were likely going to let Dalton Risner hit the free agent market, but still, man, we're almost a month in and he still has not signed a contract. I thought there was at least some team who would go out and give Dalton Risner a decent payday, but so far that has not happened. Even some of the free agency experts like the guys at Spot Track anticipated Risner to get a pretty nice payday on the open market, and so far his market just continues to languish. Now, I feel like there are a couple of possible reasons why that could be. Although Dalton Risner was a high second-round pick by the Broncos back in 2019 and was one of the best offensive line prospects in the 2019 draft class, his play has regressed each season he's been in the NFL. He had a pretty strong rookie year, but for the past 3 seasons, it's been a pretty consistent downward spiral for him. He consistently gets beat in pass protection, and whenever he has to pick up a stunt or a twist or a game, whatever you want to call it, he looks lost out there. That's the kind of stuff that a veteran offensive lineman should not struggle with in year 4 in the NFL. Now, alongside Dalton Risner's play on the field, another reason that could be pushing teams away is his little sideline spat with Brett Rypien last season in our game against the Rams. Rypien was not happy with the Broncos offensive line for not helping up Russell Wilson after he got sacked and actually got in their faces. Risner took exception to that and went up and shoved Brett Rypien and told Brett to do something about it. Rypien was simply sticking up for Russell Wilson in that situation, and really, I don't feel like it was necessary for Dalton Risner to lose his cool like that. Now, perhaps teams are just looking at Dalton Risner's play on the field and deciding that he's not a good fit for him, but at the same time, they may look at that sideline spat and go, okay, maybe this isn't the best fit for our locker room. I don't really believe that to be the case, though. Aside from that, Dalton Risner's proven to be a pretty good dude and a pillar in the Denver community, and I feel like he'd be a good pillar in whatever new community he ended up in. But is there a chance that Dalton Risner doesn't have to change communities at all? Could the Denver Broncos possibly bring him back for the 2023 season? Now hear me out, because it's not as crazy as you would think. The Broncos gave their offensive line a facelift in free agency, signing Ben Powers to replace Dalton Risner at left guard, and giving Mike McGlinchey a really lucrative deal to be our right tackle of the future. Currently, our offensive line from left to right pre-draft consists of Garrett Bowles, Ben Powers, Lloyd Cushenberry, Quinn Miners, and Mike McGlinchey. Although I pretty much have confidence in 4 of those guys, including Garrett Bowles, there is one name amongst that unit who sticks out like a sore thumb as a weak link, and that's Lloyd Cushenberry. Cushenberry, who was drafted to be the Broncos' starting center, much like Dalton Risner, never really developed. And it's really some of the same issues too. He consistently struggles in pass protection and really struggles to pick up a stunt. Right now, Lloyd Cushenberry is a massive weak link on the Broncos' offensive line, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if the team looks to replace him in the draft. However, there is another possibility. How about Dalton Risner as a replacement for Lloyd Cushenberry? Risner does have some experience at center from college, and he also is a really smart dude, so I feel like he could handle the mental aspect of playing center really well. Now, there is a chance that the Broncos' bridge with Dalton Risner is burned, but he's also still a native of Colorado and maintains a residence here in Denver. If he has to go down the route of going and competing somewhere for a job, why not come back to Denver to do it? At least he wouldn't have to change cities. The Broncos are sitting a little bit low on salary cap right now, but if the team could slide him in for a 1-year deal for a couple $1 million, I think that could be a possibility if Dalton Risner continues to languish on the free agent market. They could bring him in and he could compete with Lloyd Cushenberry and Kyle Fuller for the starting center job, and in my opinion, he's probably the best player of those 3 guys, so he'd probably win that job. Despite all of Dalton Risner's flaws, he's still a solid starting offensive lineman in the NFL. Given that the Broncos are trying to give their offensive line a facelift, perhaps he could be a good replacement at center until they get a more permanent fix. Personally, I don't foresee someone like John Michael Schmitz landing in their lap in the draft, and unless they go out and sign someone like Ben Jones in free agency, perhaps Dalton Risner is your best bet at center next year. There's still a lot that can happen between now and then, but if Dalton Risner continues to just sit there on the open market, perhaps the possibility of a Broncos reunion will get stronger and stronger. So I'm curious, Broncos country, how would you guys feel about the team possibly bringing back Dalton Risner next year? Drop those comments down below. I would love to hear from you. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. And while you're at it, guys, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Gage Madrid NFL for continuing Broncos coverage. And for now, guys, this has been another episode of Denver Broncos Syndicate. I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.